The landscape of the NBA has changed as we know it. We are in a different era right now. During the 80s, it was the Lakers and the Celtics back and forth. And then at the late 80s, early 90s, it was the Pistons, then the Bad Boys, rough and tumble basketball. Then in the 90s, it was Michael Jordan dominating as a guard without a center, dominating the lead for the 90s. And then in the late 90s, then, you know, throw in Houston a couple years when when Jordan was retired. And then the end of the 90s, you know, Jordan retired, and then the Lakers came on the scene, and then, you know, they had the lockout season, and a couple teams won here and there. And then the 2000s, obviously Shaq and Kobe dominated the early 2000s. And then, you know, the Spurs won at the end of the 90s. And then you sprinkle in the Spurs for 5 years, you know, the Lakers. And, you know, now we're in the we're in the Golden State Cheaters era, and this is not a good era, man. This is just not. And it's getting to the point now, or it's gotten to the point now in my mind, and I'm gonna put y'all on to something. If you're in the East and you win the Eastern Conference, that is your championship now for the next 3 to 5 years if everything remains the same. Meaning if the Cheaters stay stand pat, meaning all the players stay. Now they'll sprinkle out some role players here and there, you know what I'm saying? But those 4 dudes stayed there with Steve Kerr and some decent role players. The Eastern Conference Championship now is the championship now. It is. If you go to the finals, that is your champion. That's your championship. Because once you get there, you're not going to beat the fucking Golden State Cheaters. Nobody is. So we're literally in the era now where if you're a Western team, if you get to the Western Conference Finals, that means you're doing something. You beat all the teams because you know once you get there, you're not going to beat the fucking Cheaters. The Houston Rockets are about to give Chris Paul a lot of money, and they'll be stupid for doing it, and I'll talk about that in another video. They're going to go to the Western Conference Finals again if nothing changes. I don't know where LeBron's going to go and stuff like that. But if everything remains the same, it's going to be Houston and Golden State Cheaters again, and they're going to beat them again. And they'll celebrate that, even though they're trying to beat them. But it's a foregone conclusion that the Cheaters are not only going to dominate their conference, which is the toughest conference, but then they're going to dominate the Eastern Conference. So it is going to be literally a celebration when the Eastern Conference team goes to the finals, and then the Western Conference team becomes the second team to the Golden State Cheaters, because nobody's going to beat them. And just like the dude from Houston said, the GM said, I don't understand why everybody's not obsessed about beating the Cheaters. The reason why, because he's realistic, because in order to win a championship, you have got to build your team to try to beat or compete with them. You have to, because the championship goes through that team, regardless. To me, I don't even fucking acknowledge that team as a real team, but I have to because they're in the NBA and it's a reality. It's bullshit to me. It's almost like a 2K team that somebody created. It's so fucking stupid, and you know how I feel about them. But at the end of the day, you have got to construct your team to beat them. You have to. So that's the new era we live in today in the NBA, where if you win the East, you're a champion. And if you go to the Western Conference Finals and become second to the Cheaters, you are a champion. Let me know if you guys agree with me. If you do, hit the like button and then leave me a comment and tell me why. And then share it with your friends. Because you know if you like something, you share it with people, right? Do that for me. Do me that favor. But also on the flip side, if you don't like the video, hit the dislike button. And then comment below and tell me why. And don't share it with anybody, because y'all already know I don't give a damn. Holla at your boy. Peace.